Welcome. Today our guest for this interview is Rachel. And Rachel and I have a little unique story from most of our guests, and we'll get into that. But I'm Cara Lindell. I'm the founder of the Bridging Technique and the Bridging Institute, where we are resetting micromovements. And why you might need those reset, we will hear some examples of with Rachel. It's often injuries and accidents, but can also be medical procedures. And you've had a few.
Yes, many.
So Rachel and I first met a few years back with our kids.
Yes.
And back earlier in the days of bridging, we primarily worked with kids. And so how old was your son?
He's about 7 years old at the time.
Yeah. And didn't know half of what we do now, but helped him quite a bit.
Oh my gosh. We were referred over, and I had a most surprising thing because I was very nervous. I didn't know what was going to happen or what they were going to do to him. And my husband and I were watching like hawks, and she barely touched him, and he improved immensely. And the real reason we were coming is he seemed to miss a lot of his motor skills when he was small because he was born into a family with older siblings, and everybody picked him up the minute he cried, and if he reached for a toy, we would grab it for him. So he missed a lot of his motor skills.
Exploring, yeah.
What you were explaining to me.
Yeah. So we actually kind of loosely stayed in touch, but mostly on LinkedIn of all things.
LinkedIn.
We had connected, and out of the blue in August, I got a message. Do you work with adults?
Yes, there was a question. Adults, me.
So Rachel was able to come in. So what was going on? Like
Wow.
I haven't worked with her. The team, Lynn and Becky, have worked with her. So
just real quickly, I've had 4 back surgeries. I had a knee surgery a year ago. I had my shoulder replaced. I've done a lot. But the reason I came in is I had a dog that was 140 pounds that took off with me on the end of the leash. And I flipped, turned, and fell and couldn't even get up afterwards or catch my breath. But when I did and realized I didn't think I broke anything, but I did, I couldn't move. I was in terrible, terrible pain. I didn't know who to go to or where to go to, and I thought of calling up the bridge.
Yeah. So she came in, Lynn was able to help get some core reset and shoulders. And if you've watched some of our episodes, you have heard that we often follow up with quite 4, 5, 6 weeks in between appointments. That was different for Rachel. Was it a week? 2
Not
weeks?
even, yeah.
It was probably a week, close to a week later. She was like...
Back on the phone.
Yeah. Because there had been so much injury and kind of impacted by other injuries or the surgeries, she needed more support sooner. But after that second time...
Oh, big improvement.
Yeah.
The most incredible thing happened. I've never seen anything like this. I don't know what else to do but explain. Becky was working on me, and my body started to turn, and then it bent, and then it moved, and I said, what do I do? She said, just keep going. I think I did it one time, almost a complete flip, but I ended up back on my feet, and then my body was in sync. It was the most amazing thing. Everything was so tight, my muscles, my back, through my buttocks. I had sciatica pain, and what she explained to me is that I got twisted during the fall and the tumble with the dog, and I needed to reset the muscles. And
I kind of just re-experienced some of that motion I kind of think of it as winding the video backwards.
Yeah. It's amazing. Oh my God, I couldn't believe it. Is this really happening? I mean, I'm pretty big, I'm 5'6", and I did a complete flip over, and she said, keep going, I've got you, and stood me right back up. And the other big issue that I've had for at least 6 years is I was diagnosed as having one leg longer than the other. And the doctor put lifts into my left heel, and that's how I've been 6 years. After coming back to the bridge, and I did come back like 3 weeks later for my next visit because it was just magnificent. Each thing was like getting me further. And I mentioned it casually to Becky, and she said, well, let's see. And all I can tell you is, please look, my knees are the same length.
match.
I don't know if you can see, but they are the same.
Yeah.
And one was at least, 3/4 of an inch longer, and it was causing this side to just take all the hit. And she's now righted me back, and I'm in line, and I do not hobble, and I don't have to wear a lift, and it's been pretty magnificent, to be honest.
So she's got a combination of both injuries and surgeries. So between the back surgeries, is that what she worked on kind of to help the knee? Just to get the back to relax?
Yes, to get the back to relax. And also, I felt like, and she said, you'll notice as time goes on, it's going to start improving more and let me know. I didn't really know what that meant, but she meant, without saying it, that the leg is going to start to extend itself, I guess, because that's exactly what happened. As it did, areas that I hadn't been using for so long started to open up, and it was tender. And then I would come in and she would work it and make it smoothed out again, the muscles.
So it's like matching up. So both an injury and a surgery, they disrupt how the muscles match up and go together. So if they're like this, we're working through getting them to match, support, guide, and put them back together. But there's always layers deep and then layers wide through the body. So it is sometimes a process to put together after
and
some
to figure
extensive.
It out. They're very thorough on what injuries occurred to me. I thought it was funny because they wanted to know since I was a child, and I thought, how could that even matter at this point? But it does. It matters if you had surgeries, if you were in a hospital bed and unable to move, or you had a surgery where you were tied down. The thing that just blows my mind is how informative they became to me, back to me, and explaining it to me. And that made me feel so much better. And the biggest thing I want to make sure I put out there is this is not chiropractic where they're snapping you. This is not surgical where they're cutting you open. I am talking about barely moving your body and knowing when to stop, how to turn it. And they use this thing called a rubber bean or something. Am I saying it right?
Oh, peanut balls.
Peanut ball. And
We have them all back here in the corner.
in the corner behind me. And they would use that like anywhere I have a big scar, like the one on my back, or I've had 4 C-sections, and they would do that and they would move it, and it all relates. And she probably could explain it better than me.
It's the easy way is 3 parts: the peanut balls, or if we're using our hands, it's a hug to support. And then so that lets all the muscles relax. And then we give them some little rocking, gentle motions. And then when we feel like they're starting to work together, then we may speed it up and we call it a wiggle. But that's that playful quality that the muscles should have so they can interact together. And when that happens, then they're not tight and then they're not painful either. So
It's amazing too. And you can actually feel, like, I don't know how else to explain it, but like ligaments, tendons that got caught maybe on my muscles, on my bone. You can actually feel the difference when you get up to walk. One other thing that was really big on my checklist with Becky is I told her that every time I get out of the car, I can't straighten up and walk. And my trainer's answer to me simply was, that happens to me too, and he's only in his 30s. So I was not excited about that answer, so I brought it up to Becky, and I have to tell you, I now get out of the car, I stand up straight, and I walk. And when I go to the post office, I always check my image in the glass, and that's my little check and balance, and it's amazing. I am walking straight, I am walking tall, and I am walking on my own 2 feet. It's pretty incredible.
And you have a new grandbaby to play with now,
Another
right?
one. Make that number 6.
Oh, no.
Yep, another grandbaby. So I am
So
on
you
the
don't
floor.
have to worry about getting up, getting down,
Can pick her
holding,
up, can
yeah.
hold her, can rock her, can play with her. But I'll be honest, before I came, and I'm being sincere, I could not have handled it. My back would have started killing me. My neck would kill me. All the referred pain down, and I don't have that now.
So just to give our viewers the time from today back to when, is that like 6, 7, tops 8 weeks? It hasn't been that long.
Yeah, maybe 2 months, right?
Yeah.
About 2 months. I know they said you don't need to come back for 3 weeks, but I was so keen on the fact that this was just moving in the right
She wanted
direction.
to get there.
So badly. So I was so excited every time I came in. And they were like, oh my God, there's like a big change in you. You got a smile. I mean, I walked in, I was close to tears when I walked in, right?
Well, you were close to tears on the way out, but they were happy tears.
They were happy tears, yes, yes. And so pretty magnificent place. And now I can't seem to stop myself from trying to help every family member I know. I've already brought my sister, my brother's coming, my husband's coming on Friday. I don't want to see people in pain, and when I see people crunched over, I want to so badly tell them about the bridge. And my husband's like, stop, you can't tell everybody. But it could be fixed that easy. It's not a gimmick, and it's not something that takes months, and you know right away.
Thank you for sharing all of
welcome.
that. It was just such a cool story, and the fact that it kind of has an origin going back a little ways and a little twist of how we reconnected. But also the fact that I do remember the day you came in a couple months ago, and it didn't look pretty, and to see you're like all excited to go on vacation now.
Yes, I'm leaving Saturday.
And
go away.
days. So.
I didn't know how I was going to sit on the plane. How could I handle the pain of sitting for that long? Not a problem. Not a problem.
Yeah. And now, are the goals like how to do more?
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm walking a lot, and it's just different life. I'm 67. And I'm proud to say that now. If you would have seen me 8 weeks ago, I didn't want anyone to know my age. I don't care now because I feel like I'm living my best life right now. And that's what I want. I have 6 grandbabies. I have 4 children.
A lot to look forward to.
Yeah, a lot of stuff. A lot of great stuff. So thank you.
Thanks for sharing your story, and thanks for being here. Give Rachel a thumbs up. What a lovely story. And so glad that we were able to help in different ways.
Me too.
For those of you who are interested in trying to get some help yourself, we're in the northern suburbs of Chicago. We can do appointments in person, but also virtually. And if you're a professional who wants to learn, we have courses coming up, again, virtual and in-person opportunities. Wow. So for more stories like this, subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you next time. Thanks for being here.